Welcome back from Scout Camp.
Yes, people, we are checking out The Odd Ones Out once again. Today, there are a bunch of videos that I'm very interested in checking out. What are the best kind of storytime animations on all of YouTube? We know, it's no question.
Childhood stories.
Stories from when you were a kid and the dumb things you did. Those are the best. And so, I wanted to dedicate a whole The Odd Ones Out video to looking at The Odd Ones Out stories from when he was a kid. About being a kid and the dumb things that were done. Adventures in Cub Scouts! Getting lost at Camp Geronimo!
It's what we wanted all along!
Homies, this is gonna be a lot of fun. I love watching James's work. And if you enjoy this video, you better be subscribed to James or I will be very upset. Oh, and by the way, yeah, this is some of my merch with 2 cool little muffins. We still have the muffin merch in store. We got the iconic mouse pad with all of the legendary boys. And we got the Rats Are Friends shirt. I'm pretty sure you can still, if you get both of them, you can get $5 off by using code muffin, I think. But yeah, links in the description. Anyways, okay, let's do this thing. Robert Eddie K, The Odd Ones Out. 3, 2, 1, actually, theme song.
Sometimes I feel like the odd one out, like no one knows what I'm talking about. So I just go and take a trip to Subway. Some things may keep me awake at night. Board games, my awful roommates and life. So I'll recline and go online. With the odd ones out, I'll laugh a million times.
Honestly, I think because we just went to Cub Scouts with Haminations, we should check out Adventures in Cub Scouts first. We're on the topic, so let's do it. 3, 2, 1, go.
So originally,
oh my gosh, this is bright. Oh my word, I am turning down. You guys see what just happened when I started that video? My word.
So originally I was going to make a video talking about Boy Scouts because I was a Boy Scout, but then as I was writing the script, I thought about all the fun things I did as a Cub Scout. So here we are. Cub Scouts is something you can do before you're old enough to be a Boy Scout. It's not required to do Cub Scouts to be a Boy Scout. It's just if you're up to it or if your parents signed you up, you can do it.
Is that true? I didn't know that. I thought Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts were the exact same thing. I thought Cub was just a fun word for it. But wow, I guess that makes sense. Shout out to Jay Cub Scouts.
Now you're already pretty young when you can start doing Boy Scouts. It's why it's called Boy Scouts, not Man Scouts.
Yes.
You can start doing Cub Scouts when you're 7. At what point does it just become babysitting in uniform? So all you people watching over the age of 7, let me tell you what you missed out on. Unlike Boy Scouts that wear a tan uniform, Cub Scouts wear a dark blue uniform. Now there are 4 ranks to the Cub Scouts. There were some requirements you had to do to go up the ranks, but if you went to the meetings every week, you'd be fine.
Wow, you know, I'm sorry. This is just the James just blew my mind with the babysitting in a uniform line. I had never thought about the fact that parents will send their kids to scout camp or Cub Scouts or whatever camp so that they have time without you for a bit of time. So they can literally just be a couple, like an adult couple for a period of time. Like that's like a major factor for why parents send their kids to camp. I never thought about that, but now that I am like a grown man, I finally realized, wait, that sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty good. Okay, sorry, I'm spiraling already.
Now there are 4 ranks to the Cub Scouts. There were some requirements you had to do to go up the ranks, but if you went to the meetings every week, you'd be fine. You didn't have to do anything on your own time. And even if you did all the requirements in the rank, you still had to be in the rank for at least a year. So basically the ranks were based on your age. When you were 7 years old in 1st grade, you were a Tiger Scout. The 2nd graders were the Wolf Scouts, the 3rd graders were the Bear Scouts, and the 4th graders, aka the
Muffin
really cool
Scouts.
ones because you're the oldest. Actually, before I tell you, just guess what the mascot for the 4th and final rank of Cub Scouts is.
Butterfly
Leave
Scout.
your guesses in the comment box below.
Raccoon,
just kidding, don't do that. I
rabbit.
don't care. We have a tiger, a wolf, and a bear. That rhymed. What animal is cooler than all 3 of those?
Not
I'll
lying.
tell you. Nothing. And that was the mascot. There was no mascot.
What?
Welcome to the real world, 4th graders. There's no such thing as cartoon
There's no
anthropomorphic
mascot?
animals. So if you did guess anything in the comments, you were wrong. I told you not to guess. The 4th and final rank of Cub
Wow.
Scouts was called Weebelows. Weebelows. Very fitting name. It goes tiger,
see.
wolf, bear, Weebelows? What kind of animal is that? Apparently it's supposed to stand for We Be Loyal Scouts.
What?
We talk like pirates.
I thought
Don't
that
worry,
was a
Cub
real
Scouts,
animal.
I'll make you a mascot for the Weebelows. Here, it's a made-up animal for a made-up word.
Beautiful. Wow. It's beautiful. The world's first We Below. You know what? That's such a good drawing. You know, we below you. Below you, James. Never mind.
Here, it's a made-up animal for a made-up word. Use it however you like. The Wikipedia page also talked about a bobcat badge, but I don't remember doing that, so that's whatever, it's not important. I can't even remember what we did as Cub Scouts. We would just meet at some person's house. I think it was one of the kids' moms, and she just had some activity for us to do outside, and we would just play. My mom told me that she was my scout leader for a year, but I don't remember that.
Wait, are you actually in Scouts? What was that? You were just at a friend's house in Scouts? I thought you were in the woods the whole time. Am I crazy?
We would just meet at some person's house. I think it was one of the kids' moms, and
What? I thought you were in the woods doing cool stuff. This sounds like the worst Cub Scouts camp adventure ever.
but I don't remember that. I do remember we talked about bike safety, and I remember I fell off my bike a lot. I still got the award though. Each rank had a handbook that said what activities you would do, and I looked on Google for pictures of the handbook, and I found these books with gritty, serious, tough covers. And I was shocked because the handbooks I grew up with had the mascots on them, and I liked it.
Wait, are these real? Wait,
I
we
was
can
shocked
see the
because the
Weebelow.
handbooks I grew up with had the mascots on them.
Wait, this is real?
This is real!
He's serious. It's real. These are real Cub Scouts books. That's crazy. That they have cool animal mascots and then Weebelows. What? I thought a Weebelow was an animal. I was so excited. I was like, that's cool. That's like some like tree ant-eating thing, right? That's what I pictured in my mind when they said Weebelow. Oh, a tree anteater.
And I was shocked because the handbooks I grew up with had the mascots on them, and I liked it. The old books were cute and had pictures. You're
Yeah.
not trying to get rid of the mascots, are you, Cub Scouts? I think it's funny that each mascot gets progressively unhealthier, which is why my Weebelow mascot looks the way it does. And I think I might be suppressing this memory, but every time we went up a rank, there would be this award ceremony thrown by the leaders.
We're
and
so
I think
proud of you
we
boys.
metaphorically drank the blood of the mascot. I mean, it was really just fruit juice, but...
What?
Hey TJ,
Hey, James.
do you remember Cub Scouts?
Yeah.
Did we, whenever we went up the ranks, did we metaphorically drink the blood of the mascot?
I think that's just something our leaders did. Like, some leaders chose to do it and ours did, but I don't think everyone did it.
Oh, we had weird leaders.
Yeah, I guess we did.
Okay, bye TJ.
That was fun. Oh, I've taken a friend phone call in a video before. Oh, I wish more homies would call me while I'm filming sometime, you know? Because if a homie calls me while I film, I always pick up. And I always let the world hear our conversation.
So another thing we did as Cub Scouts was go to this thing called Cub Scout Day Camp. I don't know if it was just an Arizona thing, but I hated it. Cub Scout Day Camp took camping and made it unfun. And surprisingly, even as a 7 and 8-year-old, I loved camping. Really, James? Someone who sits in front of the computer all day drawing Pokemon? You like toughing it out and sleeping in the woods? Yes! Oh, yes! You've never been camping? Get on that! I'm talking about real camping, though, not this day camp.
Oh, real camping. Why did you go on a camping tangent? Now you got me thinking about camping. I don't know, guys. I don't love camping. And you know why? I think the biggest reason why I don't like camping is the bugs, to be completely honest. I think if there weren't bugs when you go camping, I would be down. But I don't like bugs. Waking up with like 10 spiders on your tent that you can see through the tent. Like, no thanks, boss. No thank you. So yeah, I am of the majority of nerds, of people who are nerds, but also didn't like camping.
Talking about real camping, though, not this day camp. Cub Scout day camp was during the summer, an Arizona summer. And we would get up super early, like 8 o'clock, eat breakfast at home, and then you and your whole troop carpooled for about 2 hours to camp. There were a bunch of other Cub Scout troops that met there too. It was a pretty big thing. You were supposed to pack your own lunch, and all the other boys had really cool lunches like Lunchables and Go-Gurts and, ironically, Suabway. I was jealous of kids with Suabway sandwiches, and all my mom packed me was a peanut butter and jelly sandwich on wheat bread.
With love.
So before the day even starts, I'm already in a bad mood. You start the day sitting in this big auditorium, but it's outside. The leaders would tell you to drink lots of water, and they actually gave all the troops a bag of water balloons, and they wanted us to throw them at each other because that would keep us moist and not die of heat stroke. But water balloons are stupid because 90% of the time they don't even break on impact. You're just beating some poor kid to death with a bag of water.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Why not?
The second one, because
Stop moving! You're ruining the fun! Stop!
Oh, jeez.
Why isn't it breaking?
Break my nose or
It's
something.
not gonna break your nose. God!
Yeah, I ain't a fan of water balloons neither. Don't really love a water balloon to the face, to be honest. I like big water balloons that definitely break. But small ones that don't break. I mean, I loved throwing them at people. I just couldn't take it.
But water balloons are stupid because 90% of the time they don't even break on impact. You're just beating some poor kid to death with a bag of water. Then you would separate into your troop and there was a rotation of activities for you to do all day. We ate dinner and then we went back to the auditorium and some of the leaders put on a play. I mean, it was a pretty dumb play, but I was invested in the story. But then at 10 p.m., you went home. You didn't even get to sleep in a tent. Sleeping in a tent is one of the most fun things about camping. And also the whole time we didn't get a campfire because it's dangerous to have fire around 7 to 10-year-olds or something. But they did let us do archery because that's safe. Then the next day you went back and you did it all over again. And then you would do it for a third day too. So 3 days of this.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if you're in scout camp, yeah, I mean, you don't get to do the tent and the fire. I feel like that's the reward. That's the reward for sticking it out through everything else, is like you get the cool experience of sleeping in a tent and a fire, you know? If you ain't got that, your scout camp is just babysitting in the uniform.
3 days of people throwing water balloons at you, and you can't get them back because you have a weak throwing arm, and you're probably wondering, James, what's with all the complaining? This sounds like fun. I mean, sure, other kids probably had fun. I might have been a little dramatic as an 8-year-old. One time on the second day of camping, I was clumsy and I kept falling off the rocks that I was climbing on, and I kept getting all these scrapes and bruises, and they really hurt. And then we went swimming. That was one of the activities. There was a swimming pool. But just being the little punk kid that I was like, no, I don't want to go swimming. So they made me sit off to the side and they said I couldn't swim. But then later I was like, I want to go swimming now.
He literally thought he was too cool for school. He literally thought he was too cool for school. That's what happens. Congratulations, you played yourself.
I want to go swimming now. After you swam, the leaders told you to check your shoes for scorpions, and I remember I didn't check because I hated everyone. And you know the play the leaders put on at the end of the day? It was split up into 3 parts, 1 part for each day. So it was left on a cliffhanger. I wanted to go see it, but everyone else in the troop wanted to play with water balloons. And I never found out how the play ended.
You know, I'm still just hung up on the searching your shoes for scorpions thing. That kind of freaks me out to know that like a 6-hour drive away from where I currently live, everybody has to check their shoes for scorpions. Just like a 6-hour drive away and you got scorpion kids. That's crazy to me. No scorpion kids. Honestly, guys, with respect to all of my homies from Arizona, let's just take a moment to be thankful that we are not scorpion kids. You know what? Let's put it in the comments. Hashtag not a scorpion kid. Listen, my Arizona homies, I love you. I love you. Beautiful state. But I want to be grateful for the no scorpions for just a second. Thank you.
And I never found out how the play ended. The next morning when I was supposed to leave for the 3rd day, I told my mom that I didn't want to go and she had to tell the carpool that her son didn't want to go because he's a huge And then afterwards, when they were handing out the awards, I didn't get a single award because I didn't go the third day. So I didn't finish any of the activities. And then I never went back to Cub Scout day camp since. And that's why I hated it.
Wow, those were some adventures in Cub Scouts. You know, unfortunately, I never got to experience Cub Scouts. Just kidding. I don't feel unfortunate about it. I'm just fine. But I don't have stories about it, so that's lame. I am jealous of all these fun stories that these people have. But now it is time for another one. Chaperoning 7th graders. Okay, this one's a little bit different. This one is about the Odd Ones Out chaperoning kids, not when he was a kid. This is like the meta one. This one, we're getting a bit meta. That's all I'm saying. We're getting a little bit meta.
So let's take a look, homies. And then, after that one, I think we will close it off with the legendary Tales from Camp Geronimo.
But we gotta earn that one. We gotta earn that one. All right, let's do it, people. 3, 2, 1, go.
You know, I've realized something. If I keep making videos about my life stories, then soon I'll run out of life to talk about. Which is why sometimes I'll agree to do a thing just so I can make a video about it later. Perks of being a YouTuber. So my mom is friends with this junior high school teacher. Kudos to any junior high school teachers watching. It amazes me that anyone would be okay sitting in a room with 27th graders and not even getting paid that much to do it. My mom was talking to her like moms do, and I guess I came up in conversation. And my mom told her that I wanted to be a math teacher, but then I became a YouTuber instead.
Yay.
So my mom's friend, I'll just make up a fake name for her. I'll just call her mom's friend.
Man, James could have been either a YouTuber or a math teacher. I mean, I think he'd do a great job at both, but think of the world implications of his decision to be an animator instead of a math teacher. I wouldn't be here right now.
Mom's friend comes up to me and says, "Hey, would you be interested in helping tutor some 7th and 8th graders?" Ew. I think the only reason she chose me was because 1, I'm good at math, duh, and 2, I'd be good with kids or something. I told her I'd do it because 7th and 8th graders are the worst kinds of people. Unless you watch my videos, then you're cool.
Yay,
I'll finally get
Every 7th grader is ew, except for the ones who watch The Odd Ones Out and Robert IDK and subscribe and boop that like button. Those are the only exceptions. Which brings me to a point. Guys, if you are not subscribed to James, make sure you are subscribed to his channel.
I'll finally get to live my half-hearted dream of teaching kids math. Now, I didn't make this video to talk about math, okay? That's boring. Before I even started tutoring these kids, mom's friend asked if I wanted to chaperone on a field trip so I can get to know them. Okay, 7th and 8th graders are between the ages 11 and 13, aka the worst time to be alive as a human. You're going through puberty, you're super self-conscious, no one wants to be your friend. 7th grade is just one big popularity contest, and everyone's losing. No one looks back at themselves when they're in 7th grade and thinks, yeah, I was all right. There's definitely some Sevies watching right now thinking, oh, I'm not that bad. Doesn't matter who you are, you're gonna look back on these years and hate yourself.
Oh my gosh! Oh, James, go in, my G. James just went for the throat. He just went for the throat. James, you gotta chill. Just a little bit. Sevies. First of all, Sevies, that sounds like a slur. Second of all, wow. I don't hate myself from when I was that age. I mean, in some ways I do. There's certain things, I mean, yeah, okay, maybe. All right, maybe he's right. No, I'm just kidding. I had a great time at all ages. I always watched cool YouTube videos. I played video games that I still play to this day, video games I revisit. I mean, like, case in point, like anything you see on this screen while I film, like these are games from my childhood that just shaped me as a person. And so it's like, I don't hate who I was at that age. I did a lot of stupid stuff, but like, I don't know. I don't feel quite the same as James, even though that was hilarious.
I remember when I was in the 7th grade, I noticed all the cool kids wore really low socks. The shorter the sock, the cooler you were. So I always wore the lowest sock possible. Most of the time, you couldn't even see the socks. It looked like I was wearing nothing. That's how cool I was. Sometimes I put on girl socks because they were the lowest socks I could find. Wow. I was so cool. Anyway, I was going to be chaperoning these kids on a field trip. They were going to the big college here in Arizona. Can I just say ASU? And this was supposed to get them excited to learn and pursue a higher education. Kinda awkward bringing me along, the successful college dropout. Hey kids, you should go to college. It's important. I don't count though. And I didn't know what to expect on this field trip. YouTube says my biggest demographic is 18 to 24-year-olds, but I don't think that's true, because it's usually kids leaving comments and emailing me asking to collab.
Yeah.
Either they're the loud minority, or there's a bunch of kids lying about their age on YouTube.
Man, another zinger. This dude is just pulling through with the zingers. I gotta keep it real. James is one of the best writers on YouTube. He is one of the best writers.
Either they're the loud minority, or there's a bunch of kids lying about their age on YouTube. I walk into the classroom, and everyone's head turns. Is that the odd ones out? Oh my goodness, it's the odd ones out. Kids started forming lines, they were taking pictures, they were hugging me, and I'm just kidding, that didn't happen. No one cared. They were all still talking in their cliques. With all the kids I've talked to over the internet, that sounded wrong. With all the kids I've talked to,
Oh my gosh. Oh my god, James.
With all the kids I've talked to, I was hoping that at least one kid had seen my stuff. But nope, so I just sat in silence and played on my phone. We get on the bus. I don't remember where I said this, but on school buses, all the cool kids sit in the back. Well, this time the opposite was true, because I sat in the front.
Okay, I guess. But if you're comparing yourself to the coolness of kids, are you really that cool? That's the only thing, James. Yes, the cool kids sit at the back of the bus. I remember I took a bus all the way from grade 5 to grade 8, and it was when I went to the gifted kids school, and so it was only grade 5s to 8 who took this bus. And when I started in grade 5, I was at the front of the bus, and then every year I got more and more seniority, and I sat closer to the back of the bus. And when I was in grade 8, I had that back right seat every day. It was only mine. If someone tried to get in that seat, they were kicked out. I had seniority. You had to abide by it. You had to. But yeah, man, I cannot tell you how sweet that felt when I finally had my own bus seat for the year in the very back. And those like grade 5s, they would share seats and stuff. Lame. When you're a big tough grade 8 like me, you get the whole seat to yourself. Each grade 8, there were only like 4 of them, right? It was sick. Anyway, so James, the back of the bus is the coolest, I'm sorry.
I go to this group of kiddos and I say, so what do you want to be when you grow up? And at that moment, I realized I sounded exactly like one of those adults who try to talk to kids but have no idea what to say.
No.
I was planning on them saying astronaut or doctor. And then I was going to say, well, you could learn that in college.
Yay.
That's what I was going to say. So what do you want to be when you grow up? They said nothing. They didn't say anything. They just looked at me like, why is this old guy trying to talk to us?
No.
So then I just walked away. All right, I need a new question.
Yeah, so that's the biggest mistake that people make is they overestimate how young a person is. Like once you get to a certain age, you look at like people who are way too old to be talked to like that, the same as like little kids. So what do you want to be when you grow up? It's like, yeah, don't do that. When you talk to like a 5th to 8th grader, like a child, they are going to immediately hate you. It's like, they just, no, don't do that.
I wanted to somehow bring up, hey, I have over 1 million subs on YouTube. But that's tacky. You don't just start conversations like that. Sub counts have to come out naturally. So I went up to a new group of kids and I said, so do you guys watch any YouTube videos? And most of the kids did the same thing, looking at me like I was weird.
Oh yeah,
but
rice
one kid
gum.
said, rice gum.
No! Oh my gosh! Oh no! Yes! Oh my gosh! Brain blast. Guys, I'm sorry. This is why they pay me the big bucks. Your boy is on it. Oh! When I say big bucks, I mean medium bucks. Let's be real. But this is why.
But one kid said, rice gum. Ugh, ew. Here's actually the story of how I met Rice Gum. So I was at VidCon and all of a sudden a huge crowd of people just goes running by. And I said, who's that? And someone else said, Rice Gum. And then I said, oh, who's that? And I didn't really meet him. My friend Gabe did though. So we were given
That's
a tour of this
funny.
college and it was actually
Oh my
kind of
gosh.
interesting because it was the college that I would have attended if I wasn't trying to save money. It was fun seeing what could have been. There were other junior highs doing tours at the same time, so we crossed paths with this preparatory school. I'm guessing it was a preparatory school because they were wearing uniforms. And this one kid in the other group just pointed to me saying, "The odd one's out!
There
the odd
you
one's out!"
go.
over and over, and I just said,
There you
"Hey,"
go.
back to him. And that was it. We just kept walking. No pictures or high fives. Man, why couldn't have that kid been in my group?
Yeah. Oh man, that has happened to me a few times. I've had people meet me and it's like in a weird time. And so I think they don't feel comfortable like asking to take a picture or anything like that. And so they're just like, oh, do you make YouTube videos? Oh, bro, hey. And it's like, they're really excited, but it's like, we just kind of cross paths. And I'm like, I wish that guy got a picture. Like, I wish he asked me because I know that makes people happy. So I wish that like if he was excited to see me, like, I wish that they had asked. So, you know, just to reiterate, if you do see me in the real world, unless it looks like I'm having like a super private moment, yeah, please feel free to ask for a picture. Like, I want to make my viewers happy, you know? So just letting you know.
So we do the tour, and I was in the back not talking to anyone. We ate lunch, and there was actually a kid in my group who did know me. His name was Connor. I think he was too shy to talk to me at first. Thanks, Connor. Where were you when I asked your peers what they wanted to be when they grew up? But he was cool. We ate lunch together. The field trip was almost over, and I kept thinking, man, I did not connect with these kids, like, at all. Well, they are only 7th and 8th graders, so it's not like I need their approval. Hey kids, I have 1.8 million subs on YouTube. Gosh. It was tacky to use my sub count to get validated by these children, but after I said that, everyone loved me. I think I made a good connection with them. And okay, all the kids I tutored that were failing math, 90% of the time, they weren't failing because they didn't understand the material. They were failing because they were missing assignments. So all right, I'm about to tutor everyone watching this video.
Okay,
and this goes for you college folks too.
Let's go.
Kids, turn in your work. Even if it's late, it's better than a 0. All right, lesson's over.
Well, the moral to that story is, yes, if kids aren't showing you respect, tell them your YouTube subscriber count, and then they'll respect you. Wow, what a great moral to that story, James. Thank you so much. Okay, we have 2 videos to check out still. I want to end it with the Camp Geronimo masterpiece that I have never seen before. But before we close it off with that, I say, physical education. A short one about gym class. When else are we gonna have the opportunity to check this one out? I think this is the perfect video to throw it in, and then we will watch Camp Geronimo. I've wanted to watch this for a year now. Since I started watching The Odd Ones Out, I have wanted to see this video. So in a second, we will get to that. For now, physical education. Let's hear some gym stories. 3, 2, 1, go.
I don't know if any of you guys had to do this in high school, but in my high school, you had to take a physical education credit to graduate. So normally, to get it out of the way, in 9th grade, all the boys would take PE, and all the girls would take dance. But sometimes, the really white boys would take dance. And you could always point them out during dance recitals. So I actually took PE my sophomore year because I went to a preparatory school in 9th grade. But that was okay because I fit in quite perfectly with all the other skinny white boys. And there's like this long moment in the first 10 minutes of class where all you do is sit in the locker room and wait until coach says, okay, let's do this. So one day we all got bored and just started flicking water bottle caps. You know, just caps and little whoop-ah! We just started flicking, you know, like little tiny frisbees. We took caps from the trash and we would just whoop-oo, shoot them at each other, you know?
Okay. Shooty boys gotta shoot.
You know, and no one really got hurt, and I'm pretty sure I'm the one who started it, but whatever. And then when we did our physical education class, it was like extra hard. Like we ran 2 laps instead of 1. And we had to do wall sits while holding medicine balls.
Wow, James had a boring gym class. Oh, this is making me realize how lucky I was. In my gym class in high school, literally every single day we just played games. I don't know if it was like that in like grade 9, 10, and 11, but in grade 12, the entire class was just, we're doing a basketball unit. We're just gonna play basketball for 2 weeks. Okay, we're doing a baseball unit. We're just gonna play baseball for 2 weeks. Oh, we're doing a dodgeball unit. Like, that was my entire grade 12 gym class, and it was the best thing ever. It was the best thing ever. Like, I can't imagine a class that I would rather take than my grade 12 gym class. There could not be anything better. Literally, nothing could be better. Being able to exercise with the homies and play fun games. This is the only part of my job that involves standing, people. I hope you realize this is the only time in my job that I stand. Just so you know. And then when we did our physical education class, it was like extra hard. Like we ran 2 laps instead of 1. And we had to do wall sits while holding medicine balls. And then afterwards, when we were all sweaty and tired, the teacher goes,
You wanna know why today was extra hard?
Because the bottle caps.
Because you're flicking water bottle caps at each other.
Horrible.
What? Fast forward a month, and these two kids get the idea to play a game called Bodies. And if you aren't familiar with that game, it's a game where you punch someone, that's it. You're not allowed to hit their face, though, just their bodies. Which is why it's called Bodies.
What?
And you'd think at least one of us would be like, hey, you guys. Oh, wait, their voices should be squeaky. Hey, you guys. Coach didn't like that we were throwing water bottle caps before. Maybe we shouldn't do this. So, I obviously couldn't let that happen without watching. And these two kids start playing, and one kid isn't even punching back, which is a strategy I would not use playing that particular game.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the dude taking the punches falls off his feet and hits his head on the hard tile and doesn't get up. Did I win? So we're a couple of young bros, and we're like, hey, bro.
What?
Bro? So we had to tell the teacher, and the teacher got the nurse, and a little time passed, and at that point, he did wake up a little.
Oh my
And the coach asked him what happened. And he knew he would get in trouble if he told the truth. So he lied and said, I don't know, I just passed out and got all these punch marks. Although it is possible he could have legitimately forgot. And then the coach asked the class what happened. And everyone was like, oh, yeah, geez, man, yeah, he just passed out. Yeah, I saw him. He just flopped down.
Oh my gosh. First, it was the bottle caps, and now it's the cap. But first, you did the bottle caps, and now you are capping about this. You're just spewing cap from your mouths with reckless abandon. You know what? This is so much cap. Gotta throw it on. If they're gonna be capping, I may as well be capping too. robertidkbusiness.net,
And we almost got away with it, except one kid, I forget his first name, but his last name was like Willikins or something. And he had the stupidest bowl cut too. So stupid. He tells the coach they were playing Bodies, and person A falcon punched person B. Then we already know we're in a whole heck of a trouble.
Yep.
But the nurse called the PE teacher and said, this kid needs to get his stuff. And coach said to the class, someone needs to get this kid his stuff. I got it. I'll get his stuff. And I'm told that the class had to do lunges down the track field. But I wouldn't know, because I took my sweet time getting him his stuff. And then a year later, I heard our PE teacher got fired. For separate reasons.
Okay. Wow. I mean, lunges down the track seems horrible, but that's a small price to pay for almost taking someone's life. Do not do something as stupid as what they were doing. Fighting indoors on a hard floor like that with like tiles, that is so dangerous, dude. I mean, don't fight in general, but if you are ever in a situation where you have a fight that you have to do it on grass, please, because falling and hitting your head on grass couldn't save your life compared to falling and hitting your head on concrete. Okay, so please, obviously, do not fight, but don't. If you're ever in a situation, do not agree to fight someone not on the grass. Anyways, that got really serious, but we've earned it. We've earned this. We are going to get lost at Camp Geronimo. I've wanted to watch this one forever, and now it's due. People, are you ready to go to camp? Because I am. 3, 2, 1, go.
If you haven't read Lord of the Flies, you're probably going to have to in school one day. Let me give you an abridged version for when that time eventually comes. The Lord of the Flies is a book about a bunch of little British boys who got marooned on a deserted island, and the book tells the story about what the boys do to survive the elements, but also themselves. Within like a week on the island, the boys devolve into complete savages, covering themselves in face paint and killing a piggy. I said too much.
Yeah, that book is really dark. I feel like they haven't remade Lord of the Flies because it's dark. But every kid like has to read that book. Is it viewed as like a massive classic? Lord of the Flies was generally well received and is a popular assigned book in schools. Generally well received? It's sold over 10 million copies? Wow. What a crazy review.
And when I read the book in high school, I thought having the boys turn savage so quickly wasn't all that accurate. As a former young boy myself, I was insulted that William Golding thought that us little boys were so heartless. But then I remembered all the things that happened at my scout camp, Camp Geronimo, and I realized that Lord of the Flies is still inaccurate. The boys would have gone savage way faster. Listen, I'm a cautious person when I'm hanging around the guys.
Yeah.
In PE, the other boys would be playing this game called quarters, where you would fling quarters at people's knuckles until they bled.
Oh
But I
my
wouldn't play that game
gosh!
because it's
Oh my gosh! This video is 5 years newer than the other one, and he still got stories about just the kids that he grew up with just hurting each other for no reason. Where did you go to school?
But I wouldn't play that game because it's dangerous and I'm a loser. Or when I was at a party and someone wanted to play the knife game to show off how good their hand-eye coordination was, I wouldn't play that game either because I needed my hands to draw. But something about being with the guys in the middle of the woods, I would live on the edge. Every summer, our troop stayed at this camp called Camp Geronimo, named after the Apache Indian who was the first person to yell Geronimo while doing a sick backflip into his pool. One time, me and a couple other boys, I don't remember who started it, but we were playing with matches, and okay, I know what you're thinking, but nothing bad happened, okay? We just accidentally lit some dried bushes on fire, and it got somewhat out of control.
You know, I used to think that, like, if you just, like, I think I've said this in a video. I used to think that, like, if you just put a match up to, like, anything, everything just catches on fire. Like, if I had a lighter in here, and, like, I put my lighter up to my computer screen, the entire room's on fire and I have to get out. That's probably why I never played with fire, because I legit thought it was that intense. But still, I mean, don't play with fire, you know what I'm saying.
Out of control, but it's okay, it's fine, okay? We told the scoutmaster that there was a loose fire spreading faster than we could put it out, and he got everyone in the troop to stomp on it, and we never got in trouble. What were we doing with the matches? Oh, we were just lighting them and throwing them at each other.
Oh, good. Good.
Anyway, about 30 other scout troops attended Camp Geronimo, and we would spend a whole week sleeping in tents and earning merit badges. Most of the camp honestly felt like school, but outside. Like, when you got to the camp, you were given a schedule of classes, and for the next 7 days, you would go to those classes and learn and fill out packets and sometimes even have homework, which probably helped us not devolve into savages.
Homework at scout camp? Bryson didn't talk about that. You have to do that at scout camp? What? That's horrible. That's horrible. Not only are your parents sending you off to get some alone time, but they're making you do schoolwork? Am I crazy? That's awful.
I mean, sure, the classes weren't as boring as English or geometry. Geronimo's classes were wilderness survival, kayaking, or bear self-defense. Earning a merit badge required 2 things.
That's fun.
The first thing, you had to write stuff down. Name and point out the major parts of a kayak. Kayak. Explain to your counselor the hazards you are most likely to encounter while participating in kayaking activities.
Drown.
Bears. And the second part of the merit badge, you had to actually go out and do stuff. Capsize the kayak, swim it and the paddle to the shore, and if you don't make it, the bears will get you. I never got the kayaking merit badge.
What?
You had to be at least 12 to go to Geronimo, but you could go as an 11-year-old if a parent was coming with you. And at the time, my dad was a camp counselor. My birthday was May 14th, and Geronimo was at the end of May, so I barely made the cutoff as the youngest person going. Geronimo was a big step from spending 3 days at Cub Scout day camp to spending a week in the wilderness. What made it worse was I was going to be spending a whole week with all the mean older scouts and my dad.
Oof. Wait, I assumed his dad would have been like super pleasant, like a super pleasant Cub Scout leader. I don't know, but I guess, wait a minute. So his dad is one of the few dads who isn't sending their son off to scout camp to partially get a bit of time away from them because he has to be with them. And listen, homies, I'm not saying that if you were sent to scout camp, it was because your parents don't want to be around you. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that the time where your parents get to like just be a couple again and not have to take care of a child at all times, that's part of that's a part of it that's good for them. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
And my dad. There was this one scout named Paul. When I was 11, he was 15. So naturally, he would pick on me and make fun of me. Ha ha, I get it. I'm small, so I suck. But silver lining, he got fatter, and a couple years ago, he reached out to me, and I had been doing the whole YouTube thing for a while. He was off starting his own business, and he wanted to do some business opportunity with me, and I just said, hey, do you want to do my merch? So now he works for me. So kids, if you ever have bullies, just become successful on YouTube and then hire them to sell plushies. He's actually a really good merch guy. He gets all my stuff into these retail stores. So if you see a floof plushie at Hot Topic, you can say, thanks, Paul. Bullies really do make a difference.
What? Wow! James! Oh my goodness. Every now and then, you know, James lulls you into a false sense of security. He lulls you with just a nice, enjoyable, calm story, and then he just says something so chaotic, so unhinged.
Bullies really do make a difference.
So deranged that, yeah, he just totally catches you off guard.
Bullies really do make a difference. Anyway, self-promotion aside, my first year at Geronimo, I was a little bit on the very young side compared to everyone else.
Yeah.
I was taking a class called Orienteering. The class taught us how to read maps and use a compass. And one day, it was time for our class to go on a scavenger hunt thing. We were given a list of places we had to go to, and we were supposed to use our compass and count our paces to get to each specific location. Then when we got to our destination, there would be a marker somewhere, and we would have to write down what that marker was. There were 10 different markers that we had to find, and the course was supposed to lead us in a circle. The leader who was in charge of our group and the compass was an older scout named Paul. It wasn't the merch guy Paul, but I think it would be funnier if it was. Our group set off to the first location. Having a compass and counting your steps isn't the most accurate way of navigation, but we weren't allowed to use Google Maps, so. When we got to the spot, we had to look around for a little bit to find the marker, but we eventually found it, and then we were off to the second location. This time, the marker was harder to find.
Oh, I see where this is going. The video is called Getting Lost at Camp Geronimo. Oh, they're gonna get lost and it's gonna turn into Lord of the Flies. Okay, finally, it's all gonna come together. I see. Okay. Good, I'm looking forward to this.
This time, the marker was harder to find. The spot we landed on was pretty far from where the marker actually was. At the third location, we couldn't find the marker. But we did see this reflective sign on a tree, and we figured that's what the marker was supposed to be, so we wrote it down. At this point, I decided to grab my own compass and give it a try. My compass pointed in a direction that was a little bit off from Paul's direction. Not by a whole lot, but just enough. But remember, I was the little kid. Nothing I said mattered. Paul said things to me like, oh, you don't know how to use a compass. I bet yours is broken.
No, Paul,
I'm never going to work for you.
Your dingussery will come back, will bite you. It will be your downfall. Behavior on this level of dingarino will not bode well for you, sir.
I bet yours is broken. I'm never going to work for you one day. And you know what? I believed him. This guy is 15 years old. Do you know how wise and experienced he is? So we kept going and struggling. We used anything we found as a marker. Some piece of trash, it's a marker. Hey, this tree has an A and an M carved into a heart. Kind of weird that it's at an all-boys camp. Do you think that it's a marker? Eventually, we all had to admit that we were completely lost. The other boys told Paul to hand over his compass, and Paul reached into his pocket, pulled out his compass, and 2 buzz magnets.
Oh,
Buzz magnets are magnets that are shaped like a bullet, and you can throw them up in the air, and they make this cool buzzing sound.
Yes.
They sold them at the camp store, so that's why Paul had them. And everyone immediately figured out why we were lost. For those of you who don't know how compasses and magnets work, I don't know either. I think it has something to do with them coming from outer space. A compass is supposed to point to the magnetic North Pole, and a magnet will mess up the direction a compass is supposed to point in. Paul's compass wasn't pointing to his pants the whole time. We would have been suspicious if that had happened. But because his compass was right next to a magnet, it got uncalibrated. And then we all got lost in the woods and died. And that's why I don't have an orienteering merit badge.
Wow, Paul. Wait a minute, it wasn't actually Paul. He said it wasn't actually Paul. But whoever that was, bam! How dismissive are you? You can't even look at the other person's compass for a second? And listen, not realizing that putting magnets in the same pocket as your compass is a terrible idea. My friend, I have to present you with something. My king, you have earned this. This is, I think you dropped this, sir. I think you dropped this. This is for you. You know what? We'll leave that part loosely edited so that you guys can screen record that little bit and send it to someone who when you want to give them an L. There you go. You're welcome, homies. You're welcome. You know what? I'm gonna keep it real. Do that. Screen record that clip and send it to a homie. If you would like to give them an L. If you would like to hand them an L, send them that clip, okay? I dare you to send it. And then comment down with the results of how that went.
I was upset because my compass probably wasn't broken, but I didn't stand up for myself.
Yeah.
Because I don't do that. I have more Camp Geronimo stories, like the time me and my friend threw a Ziploc bag full of water at the older kid's lean-to, and then I ran away so fast that I threw up. But I already did a video about that, and it's 5 years old, and it's very bad, and you're not allowed to watch it. So the moral of this video is, just because you're young doesn't mean you're stupid, but it does mean you make bad videos on YouTube. Also, check your pockets before going orienteering. Going orienteering. Sounds like a tongue twister. Going orienteering. Going orienteering. Going orienteering.
Camp Geronimo is a great name. This thumbnail has been staring at me for so long now. I have been looking forward to that video for ages. And I'm so glad we checked it out. And homies, if you liked what you saw, make sure you're subscribed to James. He did all the hard work. Him and his team did all the hard work on this video. He deserves all the support. Here is our full playlist of the Odd Ones Out videos. If you have not watched all of these, click on this and check them out, homies. Here's another video that YouTube thinks you will like in particular. So I will see you here or I will see you there. Homies, thank you for watching. Peace.